To understand the first law of thermodynamics, you must first of all understand what enthalpy and internal energy are. Enthalpy and internal energy are like cousins in thermodynamics. Let me explain this step by step. System is anything that you are studying, anything that your eyes can see. So now, internal energy of that system is the total potential and kinetic energy used to run the system's molecular motion, vibration, and what have you. Therefore, internal energy is mathematically potential energy plus kinetic energy. Let us call this equation 1. Enthalpy means the internal energy plus the energy used to displace the surroundings and create space for the system. You know that every system or matter occupies space, right? There is an energy, an extra energy apart from internal energy used to displace the surroundings of that system in order to create space for it. This energy plus the internal energy is what is called enthalpy of the system. So enthalpy is the sum of the internal energy and the energy used to create space. This extra energy is made possible by the pressure which shifts the boundary to create volume. Therefore, enthalpy is equal to U plus PV. Let's call this equation 2. But to make U the subject from equation 2, we have H minus PV. Let's call this equation 3. But experiment shows that U plus PV, which defines H, creates the heat of the system. Therefore, enthalpy, which is U plus PV, could be defined as the total heat content of the system. Now note this, enthalpy, which is H, cannot be measured directly except through the observation done at the surrounding of that system. Now, what are you going to observe? The heat evolved from the system or absorbed by the system. Now, when heat is evolved or absorbed, it means there is a change in enthalpy. This change in enthalpy is now heat absorbed or released by the system at constant pressure. This will now lead us to the fourth equation, which states that change in H, which is change in enthalpy, is equal to the quantity of heat at constant pressure. Let's call this equation 4. Now look at equation 3. Equation 3 states that internal energy U equals H minus PV, right? Now because we are talking about change in enthalpy, let us now talk about change in internal energy. Since U is equal to H minus PV, change in U is now equal to change in H minus PV. Now remember that change in H is the same thing as quantity of heat, and PV is the work done to create space, which means this equation is going to metamorphose into change in U equals Q minus W. Let's call this equation 5. And guess what? This equation 5 is the first law of thermodynamics, which states that the change in internal energy of a system is equal to the heat added to the system minus work done by the system. This law is an expression of the law of conservation of matter, which states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. If you look at the equation of first law, internal energy cannot be measured except through observation of quantity of heat absorbed and the work done by the system. So to decipher the internal energy, you have to do the work of an accountant. Give a system quantity of heat and observe the work done, subtract the two, and you have gotten the internal energy.